Welcome to Magalia Rose Studio. My name is Kathy, and this short 9-minute video will show you some ideas in how to create and draw not only a drawing of bamboo, but to create a drawing template that can be used several times in various ways to make your own paintings. Now, if you enjoyed seeing that little blurb in the beginning, bamboo drawing, and saw that painting, well, this is the exact process I used to eventually get to the painting part of that. So in 9 minutes, you can be creating a bamboo forest. If you aren't familiar with the structure of bamboo, get some reference photos. This is a photo I got from the unsplash.com site, which has no copyright restrictions, so it's safe to use it. Now, I'm not trying to get a botanically correct bamboo image. I want it somewhat impressionistic. So I'm going to go ahead and use this as a basis to understanding the structure just a little bit. Now let's begin our drawing. Here you see the drawing of bamboo that I'm going to be explaining how I completed this. And the nice thing about the product here is that you're not just making a drawing onto your paper, painting it or finishing it how you want, and then that was it. You've actually made a template. You can reuse this over and over again. You can change it. You can make it larger or smaller depending on if you have the ability to scan and diminish or increase sizes. So all that work is going to be paying off several times. And it's sometimes a good idea to take a subject and just do it over again in different methods, different palette, different surfaces, and experiment. And you don't have to reinvent the wheel each time. So I hope you try this, and I hope you enjoy the video. As you begin drawing your bamboo stalks, remember that when you're drawing a repetitive subject, such as the bamboo trees or even flowers in a landscape, the weeds and the height of them, try to vary both the number, the size, and the angle of each element. Using a number 2 pencil and a piece of drawing paper the same size as the sheet of paper you'll be using your painting on, I use a ruler to determine the initial composition drawing. I usually just lay the ruler flat. It's about 1 inch wide, 1¼ inches wide, so that gives me a guide. Now I'm going to go ahead and use 7 stalks of bamboo initially. Here you see 3 that I have started with, and notice that I have varied the width a little bit and the angles. At this time I put a little small X at the top and bottom of each stalk because as the number increases, they can become a little confusing to differentiate them from the background. Here you can see all 7 of my initial stalks drawn in. Again, notice that some of them not only have a slight angle or bend to them, but that some are a little in front of another one. This gives a sense of depth in it. I'm not happy with that broad center area that's quite open, but I'm going to adjust that in the future. Here you can see a portion of the drawing where at the base you can see where I have put the little X on the stalks so that I don't get confused as I progress. And I know that seems silly, but trust me, it has happened to several people, including myself. So draw that little X. It can really help. Now in my effort to make my drawing, my stalks that have been just straight ruler marks a little more identifiable as bamboo, I begin to draw segments on each of the stalks. And to give the illusion of roundness, I curve each segment and then enlarge slightly the above and beneath, which you'll see in the next photograph. As I said earlier, I don't necessarily want a botanically correct drawing to work from, but I do want them recognizable as stalks of bamboo, and to that end I draw segments on each of the stalks in an arbitrary area so that they don't all line up. And to give the illusion of roundness, I curve each of those segments. And then I'm going to enlarge the area above and below each segment, as you can see in this close-up. This gives the illusion that these are segments. And look how amazingly organic it changes from the straight to the curved tops and bottoms, where they actually take on the aspect of bamboo. Now you're going to be covering your lines when you're done with your drawing, which you will see my next photograph, and at that time, after you have put ink or something permanent to protect your drawing, we will be erasing all these pencil marks. So just go ahead and relax, enjoy the process of making your bamboo take life. Here you can see that I've worked on at least half of my bamboo stalks, and you can see the difference on the left, those that have been improved with their segments, and those on the right that are still looking sort of like dorky pencil marks from the ruler. So definitely give a little thought here and enjoy it. It's a fun process. You're actually making your own bamboo garden here. Here I have segmented all of my 7 bamboo stalks, and in this picture, if you look closely, you can see all the little X's at the tops and the bottoms. Now it won't be so hard to tell them apart, but I'll be honest with you, I leave those little X's there. Go ahead, and again, this area in the center, this open area is bothering me, but I'm going to deal with that in the future. And take a good look at your placement and make any changes now if you haven't inked it yet, and this would definitely be the time to do your initial inking. And we're going to get started drawing some leaves to add even more life to our little bamboo garden. Now I have drawn several bamboo leaves on another piece of paper. The leaves tend to be long and thin. Again, check your reference photo. And they grow on stems of varying lengths. You should observe their structure from photos and practice a few sketches of the leaves. And at this point, I rarely draw my compositional sketch, but put a piece of tracing paper over it, and then draw the leaves where they will best fit. Here you can see where I have placed the tracing paper over it, the main sketch, and where I'm aligning where I want my leaves to be and drawing them onto the tracing paper. It's much easier to erase tracing paper than your drawing, which you don't want a lot of erasures and marks. So once I'm totally satisfied, I'm going to just reverse the process and put the tracing paper with the leaf placement under my compositional drawing over a light box, and then actually draw the leaves onto that sketch of mine. Here's the my initial placement of all my leaves onto my drawing, and you know, this is a good time to again continually evaluate your drawings and look at them and make sure that things are working the way you want them to. This is one thing I do is I often hold the drawing in front of a mirror. Seeing it in reverse will sometimes reveal a compositional element that you just don't like or want to change. This is the time to correct anything that you don't like before transferring the drawing to your painting surface. After evaluating my drawing and telling you that that area in the center was bothering me a little bit, I went ahead and filled it in with 2 more thinner stalks of bamboo, and I seem to like this a lot better. I'm going to go ahead and make sure everything is drawn in with an ultrafine Sharpie, which will darken the lines, and then I'm going to really erase every pencil mark. And now I'm ready to transfer the drawing to the painting surface that I'll be using. I think down the line I'm going to be doing demonstrations on painting this particular bamboo drawing on other surfaces, possibly gin washi, possibly Arches watercolor paper, maybe Yupo, I'm not sure. But stay tuned and we'll see what happens with this drawing down the line. Before I move on to painting, I just wanted to show you I have transferred that drawing onto a sheet of gin washi paper in the landscape format. And I thought for fun I went ahead and just used part of my drawing on a 1/4 sheet of watercolor paper, Arches 140-pound cold press. And I just wanted to change one in being in the landscape and one in the portrait format, just to see how things would work out for fun. If it isn't fun, come on, let's let it be fun. Get out of the seriousness and do some experimentation. So that's the end of the drawing phase. Now I'm going to be moving on to painting in separate videos.